Hello and welcome. In this video I will simulate 3 different examples of how to mill a keyway on a shaft or groove, and at the same time I would explain about why this kind of method is the most efficient and the best way. And the first example of how you could mill a keyway, which I have done for many years, is this one, where we use a spot drill first on both ends or one of the keyway, and then I drill all the way down to the bottom, almost to the finish depth, about 200ths of millimeter before the finish depth, and then I will take a rough and plunge it in the hole, and then I will rough all around and leave some stock on the walls and floor, of course, and then the finish will pass 2 times of 1/10 of a millimeter, and it would touch the bottom with just about 200th of a millimeter. And we'll try to simulate the first one. So it's spot drills, normal drill, and then we go roughing, plunging, and then there comes the finish, 1 pass, and then 2nd pass. The next example, let's turn these off. Next example is zigzag roughing with a finish. And this method is where you zigzag with a roughing mill, and then I finish it with 2 passes. And the last example, plunge, contour, rough and finish. And you can do this if you have an end mill that can plunge. Not all end mills can do that. You need to buy the one that can plunge. It means that there are a cutting edge at the center of the mill. Let's simulate where I plunge in the middle of the keyway, and I have 2 different depths, so I don't put too much stress. I don't want too much depth on this small diameter of 8 that has to go 4 deep. It can go 4 deep all the way, but to put less stress and go faster in feet rate, we can take 2 depth cuts. So it plunges, and then the finish pass with full on plunge. And the reason why my finish passes, all of them have full depth, is because I don't want to make my mill being having conicity or having wear at the end of it. And to talk about it, we're going to this. On the right side, this is an end mill where we use 100% of the length of the flute, and the other one is where we only use, for example, 2 millimeter of the length of the end mill, and this is a size of 8 on both of them. But if I keep working at 2 millimeter depth cut, it's gonna get smaller, the diameter. And if we have one that's 7.9 in diameter in 2 millimeter depth or length of the flute, and then the rest of it is 8, it means that if we go full length, where we have to finish, when we get to 4, the upper part would be bigger, the keyway size would be bigger than the bottom, and we don't want that when we put the key inside of the keyway. And then you can see here I draw 2 different shafts. One of them has loft or conicity on it, and the other one is straight parallel to the sides. The left one is because it causes tear and wear on the mill, and if we do not use the full length of the mill, we'll end up with a bad keyway that has conicity on it. If we use full of the length of the mill all the time, every time when we make a keyway, it would be parallel on each side and have symmetry on it. So this video was an example of how you could mill a keyway correctly and at the same time make best usage of your tools without spending loads of money on buying tools all the time, and how you can make multiple or hundreds or thousands of keyways with the same tools. Now it depends on which machine you are using. If you're using, for example, a Brother, which has a really fast turret turning, or you're using a normal 3-axis like. Now it depends on which machine you have. and how fast your turret is turning with the tools, but the first one will of course have more tool turns than the second and last one. And if you have a slow tool turn machine, you would definitely choose less tool changes than the first example I showed. But the first example is more reliable in the long run because the spot drill is very cheap compared to a plunge country rough, which is an end mill that can cut in the center. And at the same time, if you have 2 flutes or 4 and it's really rigid, strong, your end mill, then it's going to be more expensive definitely than a spot drill HSS material. If you use roughing, you would also have wear on your rough tool always and never on your finish, because we want our finish end mill always to be the same diameter from the start of it, of the flute length, all the way to the end of it. Thank you for watching the video, and please subscribe if you want to learn more. I'll try to make more videos, and I would love to hear questions or any topics that I can make a video about. Thank you.